What role, if any, does the federal government play as opposed to state and local government in the economic well-being of northern Indiana?
The federal government role is to help create an environment that spurs business and creativity. Initially, in the social contract between the government and citizens, the federal government was to protect us and then to help those who couldn't help themselves. But what has happened over the years is more and more the federal government has taken on more and more of a larger role in our lives, and it's become more intrusive in our lives to the point now where instead of governing us, it's coming to a point that it's almost becoming a sense of tyranny in which they're going to be stepping in and taking more control. We now have them talking about what foods we can eat, whether or not we can smoke, and whether or not you're for smoking or not. I don't smoke, but if you want to smoke, I say that's your right and that's your privilege in America. But the federal government has taken much more power and scope and activity in our life than was originally intended. We need to turn that back and turn power back to the people and back to the local governments so we can fix local problems here with local solutions. I would much rather have somebody here working on a problem than somebody in Washington, a bureaucrat in Washington, making a decision.
What type of tax reform would you promote and why? 1, increase taxes on the rich and on corporations who make excessive profits. 2, add a value-added tax to products at each step of manufacture. 3, simplify the income tax to one flat rate. Or 4, replace the income tax with a national sales tax.
The best way to get things done are through incentive. And incentive means you need money for small business to create business, to produce products that mean something. You need employees to work for the small business. Tax cuts are what we need, because tax cuts generate jobs. Tax cuts generate small business. Tax cuts generate big business. The whole goal of this government should be to ensure that people go back to work. And when they're back to work, enjoy an increase in their income, to have an increase in their paycheck for the job that they do. People want to work. I believe in the goodness of people. And people want to work. They want to support their families. They want to have family security as well as national security. The only way to get that done is to encourage business and to encourage incentive. If you don't have incentive, you're not going to create small business, you're not going to work. You don't take money continuously and pass it on to the entitlement society, which encourages, why should I work? Why should I create small business? Why should I have to go through duplicate and triplicate forms? Doctors no longer practice medicine. They're busy doing government forms. Thank you.
What is the #1 issue that you feel needs to be addressed in Congress if you get elected, or what is your #1 priority to try and fix if you are able to be elected to Congress?
I'm going to have to go with the last question. And reforming the tax code in the United States is probably the best thing that we could possibly do. The national sales tax would be the best bet that I've seen. The Bush Fair tax by Neil Bortz and John Linder is one of the easiest reads and probably one of the most amazing reads you'll read about the income tax. Basically what you do is you'd have no tax on businesses. Your income tax or your no income tax just be one flat sales tax across the board. They said about 30–35% of everything that we buy is shifted down to us by the companies for what they pay for the compliant tax code, which is about 13,000 pages long. All the investments would be kept in the United States. there would be no taxes on capital gains. So everyone who's trying to hide money overseas would keep their money here, which of course would be in our economy. That would help everyone increase jobs and increase investment throughout the United States. Thank you.
All conservatives agree greater efforts must be taken to secure the border. With regard to the estimated 10 to 22 million illegal immigrants in the U.S. currently, to support some type of path to citizenship or strict I-9 and government eligibility requirements to reduce that population through attrition.
Well, we know we have 11 to 12 million, we think, illegal immigrants in the United States. And we will never, ever be able to make them all belong. We know that. And the last administration and this administration don't even enforce the laws that we have. Over 500,000 people cross our border with Mexico every year. Obama just sent 1,200 National Guard troops, which is like putting a Band-Aid on the problem. I mean, look at our Homeland Security Director. She was the governor down there, Napolitano, and she doesn't know anything about Homeland Security, and now she's taking care of the defense of our whole country, and she couldn't take care of her own state. So I think what we have to do is I think we have to figure out now, going forward, what are we going to do with the people that are here? I'm not in favor of building a brick wall. My parents came over, they were immigrants in the 1800s. There is some value to having other people come to this country. It's the way they've come into this country that's offensive. Those of us who are here pay taxes and we live by the law. So we need to find something that's onerous, that's burdensome, but that makes them come out of the shadows, because otherwise all they will do is tear down our school systems and our hospital systems, because they are carrying the burden of those unpaid taxes that those undocumented workers are doing. I think it's going to be a long, arduous task, but that's something that I think the next Congress should address.
Randy Moore. Currently, the U.S. federal government is borrowing 42 cents of every dollar it spends. If you support a balanced budget without tax increases, what 42% of the current budget would you recommend removing?
Thank you for that question also. Last night I tried to memorize all 2,000 pages of that federal budget. At the age of 52, you have difficulty at times. The first thing that I would do categorically would be to a common sense spending cap has been estimated to save the federal government in excess of $350 billion over the next 5 years. That would be number one. Number two, there are a list of at least 50 items within the budget that I would review immediately for cutting. But I will not give you the specific budget line items because, frankly, without spending the time, as I have on the state level, reviewing the budgets, I could give you a 15-second soundbite, but quite frankly, that's not what I should do. And those of us who are on the Ways and Means Committee understand that it's a serious business and that you have to understand those line items within every budget in which you're operating. So the first thing, common sense spending cap, which would say $350 billion immediately, and then a review of about 50 items that's on the list of the most conservative Republicans in which to cut.